so lucky this afternoon because you are looking at one of the most endangered carnivores in Africa, and they are called wild dogs or African painted dogs. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me is VM. And look at all the babies! Look at all the tiny puppies. Hello, they are so gorgeous. Oh, look at their short little legs. Wow, I have not seen wild dog puppies for over 2 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. Now, they have had dinner, because you can imagine these young puppies need to eat as much as they can. That's so important. Now, I don't really know how old they are. I'm guessing between 4 and 6 months, but now that I've seen them for the first time, I think that they're probably around 4 months old. So they would have just come out and started joining the animals when they go hunting. This is magnificent. Look at those big ears too. Now, it's important that they have those really big ears like that because they need to listen, need to hear exactly what's going on, especially when they need to try and find themselves some dinner. There they go, off they go running. But that is really precious. Now remember, you can ask your teacher to ask us some questions. Maybe there's something that you want to know about these wild dog puppies. This is so beautiful. And they're all just sitting in the sand. They're exhausted now. Aaliyah, I feel so wonderful about seeing all the animals. I think I'm really lucky to have a job like this, to be able to spend time with this wonderful wildlife. Look at those sharp teeth. Who of you at home have had puppies or maybe have a puppy at the moment? You'll know that it's never fun to play for too long because they can get a little bit rough and those teeth are like needles. But luckily they've all got one another to play with so they can leave mom and dad alone. Oh, this is so precious. I really can't stress to you how lucky you are to see them. There's only a few thousand left in Africa. We are very spoiled. They don't really look like the dogs you get at home though, hey? Don't you think they look a little bit like Mickey Mouse? Those big ears. Haley, I've seen quite a few wild dogs. I've been very lucky. And that's because I've been working up in this area. So this area is called the Sabi Sand or the Greater Kruger. It's a beautiful wilderness area. So I've been up here for a few years. And I've seen, I can't even tell you how many different packs of dogs I've seen or how many individual dogs I've actually seen. But I've seen lots of them. Look at them all biting one another's bottoms now and tails. And it's really cool. I was just telling all the other viewers just before you joined us that when they do find themselves some dinner or breakfast or lunch, the adults will make sure that these puppies eat food first because they know how important it is for them to grow up and they need their strength. So the adults will sometimes go hunting a couple of times to make sure that everybody is well fed in the pack. And I was looking at the adults' tummies and their tummies weren't big at all. So it's very kind of them to let these young ones eat because they can't feed themselves just yet. They're still too young. And now, of course, they're going to play with one another. This is amazing. Listen to them. And you'll also see they've become quite relaxed with the vehicles too, so it wouldn't surprise me if they even run underneath my car. Oh, look at that. A puppy pile. This is truly amazing to see something like this. Now, there is obviously lots of other safari vehicles out here to join us. There we go. VM is just going to watch those ones on that side. But I couldn't have, well, I've chosen a better day to spend it out here with these beautiful creatures. Off they go, running around, chasing one another. They are so cute. All picking on one. There's a game of cat and mouse this afternoon. Quickly run, hide. All I want to be doing is taking illegal photos now, as you can imagine. So everyone that is watching, to all our regular viewers too, please send screenshots. And for those of you in the classroom today, maybe you can ask your teacher to take some screenshots. Because, like I said, people have spend a lot of money to come on a safari to see animals like this. Oh, a bit of a tumble. Now they've gone all quiet again. Holding on to its tail nice and tight, saying, "Let go, don't bite my bottom." Not letting go just yet. That must be very sore. Ouch. Not trying to roll around on the ground. Not letting go though. Finally, I'm free. And it's good that they play with one another, because all these wild dogs are going to stay in this pack and they're going to live with one another for the rest of their lives. Well, hopefully. And if they do this, they'll have a really good chance of being successful at catching dinner, breakfast and lunch, because you know what it's like. If you know your siblings, your brothers and your sisters very well, you can almost guess what they'd be thinking. Wow, we're so spoiled this afternoon. But they're tired now. So these wild dogs won't stay up for too much longer, especially that they've got something to eat. I actually think we might be the babysitters. Do you know that? I feel like Mom and Dad have said, right, Taylor, VM, you've got to look after the puppies for the rest of the evening. We're going to go and get ourselves some dinner. We're also going to go and have a drink of water maybe. So if you could just watch them for us. I feel like that's exactly what's happened. So how cool is that? These are wild animals. We don't interact with them. We don't touch them or anything like that. But the adults feel, or Mom and Dad feel comfortable enough to leave them with us. Isn't that amazing? So hopefully some of you would want to become a safari guide when you're big, because it's the best job in the world. Josie, wild dogs live pretty much for the same amount of time as a dog at home would live. So if they can get to about 12 years old, that's a good age. But remember, out here, living in the wild is a lot more difficult than our dogs that live at home and live in a garden and get fed every single day and can go to the vet if there's something wrong. So there's lots of difficult things that these animals need to face. Like there's lions out here. Lions don't like wild dogs very much because they compete with one another. So what that means is that they will fight over the same kinds of food. But lions are much bigger than the wild dogs and can kill them. And the same thing goes with leopards, although it's quite funny because the leopards often end up running up the trees to try and get away when the wild dogs come through. They're very cheeky. They like to chase around leopards. They fight with hyenas all the time. So it's difficult for them to live out here. So if they're between 10 and 12 years old, that's a very, very good age. Maybe you'll even find some wild dogs just living for a little bit longer than that. And starting to settle down now. Kaimina, now wild dogs do not like to eat leaves and grass like elephants do. You can see they're covered in blood, so that means that they've eaten another animal. So they like to catch things like antelope, so impala and duiker and steenbok and maybe a little kudu, or if there's enough wild dogs, even a little zebra. But typically out here they hunt the smaller antelope. So I don't know what they caught. I didn't see what they'd eaten, but they've only just eaten now, maybe 20 minutes ago. Maybe not even that long ago. But what we will do is we're not actually going to stay with these dogs for too much longer. And the reason why is because these dogs are, we call it diurnal. Now, diurnal means that they typically are active during the day. So they like to stay awake during the day and do their hunting during the day. And at nighttime, they normally go to sleep. And they also try and do this to try and keep away from the leopards and lions that like to move around more at nighttime, and the hyenas. So it's very, very clever. The cheetah and wild dog are the predators, so the animals that like to eat meat. That's what we call a predator during the day, and then they leave the big and scary ones out at night. Very cool. But anyway, speaking of animals that are more active at night, Sydney's with Hosanna. Let's see if he's woken up.